What's something dramatic that's happening in your work office right now? Someone's been eating people's sandwiches at work. They only get the sandwiches too. I'm legit invested in this because I wanna know why just the sandwiches. I teach. Our team, teachers of the same grade level, is going to send home colored paper note sheets for parents to write encouraging comments to their students for state testing coming up. We wanted to be a surprise for the students. We decided to try to see if the office could give us half-size manila envelopes to use. We found out they could. Very exciting as a teacher to get office supplies. The secretary went into the locked closet to get us some envelopes. Another grade level team found out that we got envelopes from the office. Now they want envelopes because it's not fair that we got envelopes and they didn't. That's the drama. Plus, one teacher that basically hates kids and her job, and maybe everyone else will finally retire next year, but we all were hoping it would happen sooner. I guess this isn't small scale, but fits the drama side. We've just received our pay increase and bonus figures for the year, except ours sent a number of letters to the wrong people, some of whom work together, doing the same job, but with different rates of pay and bonuses. Bedlam. Saved a guy with CPR this morning. He had a 98% blockage and coded on top of a rubber mat while pouring concrete. Once we got him back going, we were 4 stories up and needed to get him to ground for EMS to transport. Our project safety plan relies on the fire department / first responders to provide a backboard with picking points on it for crane usage. We couldn't wait any longer, seeing as we had already lost the guy twice. We placed him in a skid pan. Not proper procedure, but we had him secured and sent him down. As soon as the ambulance came into view, the fire department admitted that if we waited on them, we lost him. The guy got to the hospital just fine and is doing okay now. He had a stent put in and is being monitored. The doctor said that CPR saved his life and thanked us for the quick response. All seemed to be right in the world. Some guy took a video of the guy being transported by crane to the ground and sent it to our corporate safety department and OSHA. An investigation was launched and I have been fighting for my job ever since. The interviews continue tomorrow. I'm dreading even going in. I used to work in a warehouse that got shipments of used books from second-hand stores. One day someone pooped inside of a napkin, folded it up, and put it inside a book. My coworker was the unlucky one to discover it and notified management. All day they were trying to find out who the secret pooper was. Later on, I was talking to another coworker and expressed how bad I felt for our poop discovering coworker. He said, all I'm saying is, Name has an incident like this every few months, and it doesn't happen to anyone else here. Even just a few weeks before this, he had discovered poop on the men's room floor. I still don't know whether he is just extremely unlucky in poop or has been the secret pooper all along. This reminds me of a story I heard once from a friend. They were working in a department store and an elderly woman came up to the cashier to pay for their items and pulled out a $20 note from her purse. Completely normal, right? Only thing was that her hand, purse and the $20 bill were covered in poop. The cashier had a gagging fit. The woman insisted the cashier take the money. The manager was speechless and had no idea what to do. Police and an ambulance were called. The lady was completely normal the whole time and acted as if her hand wasn't stained with the brown matter. Eventually everything was settled. The woman was tended to by police and paramedics and was able to purchase her items. It seemed like everything was returning to normal business operations until, while being led out of the store by the paramedics, the lady screamed at the top of her lungs, "I bet you want to know where the rest of it is," and broke out into maniacal laughter. The manager made a decision to close the store for the rest of the day and the staff transitioned into poop watch. To this day I still don't know if they found the rest of it, but I never set foot in that store again after hearing that story. I work at a hotel as a housekeeper. Part of our responsibilities are taking dirty cups from the rooms back to the kitchens at the end of our shifts, washing them and putting them away for the next person the following morning. Well, apparently no one else but me is doing this, which means there's no clean cups on any floors and you have to spend 10 to 20 minutes cleaning these cups because there's so many piling up. I've complained to my manager, my supervisor, my manager's boss, and it's still happening. It's laziness and it really annoys me because it takes 2 minutes when they're fresh out the room. but after 24 hours they are really hard to clean. My coworkers use the excuse of I have a school run for everything. They're late. School run. I'm late because the bus was late. Told off. They're not taking the cups to be washed. They've got kids and need to be home. If I don't wash them, there's no excuse you have no other responsibilities, which isn't true. It's so unfair. So last October our printer ran out of ink. More had already been ordered, but with COVID running rampant at the time the shipment was super delayed. One of my coworkers got really bad over the fact that she couldn't print the reports in the department and instead had to go upstairs to print them. She claimed that, since I was a supervisor, I'm not, that I should be the one to go up and print them despite the fact that it was 4 AM and my shift doesn't start until 7 AM. She still isn't talking to me. Over a year ago coworker, CW1, quit to take a better job somewhere else. CW1 had their own office. Meanwhile, I'm sharing an office with 3 other people. Time goes on, I get promoted and move to another office that I share with only 2 other people. Progress. We can't find a replacement for CW1, who also decides the grass wasn't greener and applies for and is hired back to their original job. High ups decide that I need my own office due to the nature of my job. The week before CW1 restarts they tell me to move into CW1's old office. The office faces an open area with 6 workstations. CW1's first day back boss tells CW1 to pick any open desk and CW1 picks the one closest to my door. Our jobs have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Bonus drama. CW1 was a team lead. Coworker 2, CW2, applied for CW1's job twice while CW1 was gone and was passed over both times. The third person in their section also got a job elsewhere during that time. CW2 has been keeping the section afloat and doing the work of 3 people for over a year. CW2 quit the Friday before CW1 returned. A guy slept with 2 different girls and they both got pregnant. Plot twist. He's married, his wife is a trucker, so she travels out. He had to take temporary leave because one of the girls went out of her way to call the woman and she freaked out and broke his arm in like 3 places. He's actually in pretty deep trouble though. One of the girls lied about her age on her job application and she's actually 17. So he might get charged with molestation depending on how her parents choose to react. The other's 28 and looking into adoption agencies. The bosses have actually been very hush hush about the entire thing, but I ended up trying to console the 17-year-old when her doctor called her on her lunch break to confirm the pregnancy and she started sobbing uncontrollably and she basically unloaded it on me. 40-year-old woman is mad that those younger than her know what they're doing better than her and proceed to not listen to them even if they have been there longer / are supervisors, and is continually rude to them. She also hates technology and throws a tantrum the second she doesn't understand how to do something on the computer. No one gets along with our boss, so the company hired another boss to be our point of contact. He's her deputy. The original boss has started gate crashing Zoom calls. She's calling people on their days off and writing emails saying they are unprofessional for not picking up on their day off, and told a pregnant lady about to go on maternity leave that she's not happy about the pregnancy. A WhatsApp group has been made up where everyone is voicing their concerns to the deputy boss and things are getting out of hand quite quickly. There's an employee who keeps looking into clients' past information. The problem is that you're not really supposed to do that at our job unless you are authorized to do so. She has a long run of looking things she's not supposed to look up and doing really dumb stuff. She's claiming that she has found a level of issues within paperwork for the said clients and is trying to report them. She's basically trying to be a cowboy in a world where we need to go through chain of command or else it's useless in court. Doesn't matter, you're supposed to do your job and that's honestly it. If you have an issue you can always report it to your manager or team lead and they will give the final say. She also has been emailing PI-info without having to censor the said big information points, for instance, SSN. So she's committing a big federal crime. She will act confused and then have an on-the-job instructor do her work all the time. She won't take no or accept that she makes mistake. Major narcissistic vibes, and she doesn't realize that she just causes more problems than she should. Honestly, my boss has had enough of her shenanigans, and I cannot wait till she destroy this moron. The amount of stuff that she does is just mind-numbing. Okay, so recently I've started my own company, but previously I worked for a staffing agency with a lot of branches in multiple states, and one of my contacts for the agency told me that a place they staff in Iowa had a nurse that went rouge. They noticed that there was a pretty large amount of morphine missing one day, and in a place with people dying that's a big deal. So there's a scramble to figure out what the hell is going on. Meanwhile, a nurse pulls in the lot, back from her lunch break only. Something is amiss. The entire front bumper of her car is dragging on the ground as she pulls in. It looked like a complete wreck and definitely happened over her lunch. The neighbors call the cops after hearing the thing being driven. Cops show up to find this person working like nothing had even happened. Turns out they were looking for someone that hit somebody and drove off. Classic hit and run. The damage is so bad though that it's quite hilarious to me that she showed back up and continued to work her shift as if nothing happened. Anyway, when questioned by the police, this nurse claims that the car was stolen and abandoned. She claims to have gone to retrieve it on lunch. Cops can't detain her just yet, so they leave to gather some more evidence. Meanwhile, management puts together the fact that this nurse was the one with the highest likelihood of knowing something about the missing morphine I talked about earlier. At this point, her shift has ended, so this girl flees the state and abandons her absolutely trashed car in the parking lot. Literally just got on a plane immediately after leaving and noped right out of the situation. The balls on the woman. Man, my god. Wild day at work in Iowa apparently. I quit my job. I highly respect the company, and they treated me well for the most part. So I gave them 6 weeks notice. I knew I would be hard to replace. I'm the sole manager of my department with nobody in the wings to step up, and we are in the middle of a busy business period. I sat down with management after I put in my notice to iron out details around my leaving. I offered to help train my replacement if they were hired before I left. Management informed me that they were going to wait for the next year's business plan to be finalized before advertising for my position. The business plan is usually finalized around the end of March. I leave at the beginning of April. The job market is insane right now. Everybody is short-staffed, and the last management role we needed to fill took over a year to hire the right person. I've worked for this company for almost a decade in my position, and can count on one hand how many times I've had to call in sick. It doesn't happen. I'm one of the most reliable staff they have. This is one of the reasons why I'm the sole manager for my department, because management never saw a need for a second person, despite me asking for one. However, I ended up have to take some time off the past few weeks due to injury, not work related, and sickness. It only took me 2 years to finally come down with COVID. Cue panic from management. My job is physical and in person, so I can't do any of my work from home. They have no one to cover me. They scramble together people from other departments to help manage my department. Somehow my department survives with only a few blips, but now management is really scared. They start hiring for my position after only my second sick day. They advertise internally for 2 weeks. No takers. They advertise externally. Nothing so far. My last day keeps creeping closer and closer, and I can see the fear in my direct manager's eyes every time it's mentioned. There is a part of me that feels bad, but there is a larger part of me that thinks it's hilarious they thought they could get away with not hiring anyone until I left. I've pretty much removed myself emotionally from the situation now, and am in full popcorn eating mode for my last few weeks, while I watch management all die inside as they realize I'm actually leaving, and they have no one to replace me. It's dementedly glorious.